Roger Stone here. Your dollars are losing ground, but gold isn't. American Sovereign Bullion helps you protect your wealth through real, tangible assets. Through their nationwide wholesaler network, you get some of the best pricing on gold and silver delivered straight to your door. Since 1912, the U.S. dollar has lost 97% of its purchasing power. Meanwhile, gold continues to prove its strength. So call 844-272-2428. That's 844-272-2428. Or visit dyingdollar.com to request your free gold and silver guide. That's dyingdollar.com.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Taxi! Okay, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Dave Scott in Canada, welcome from the other side of midnight to Spaced Out Radio. We are a universal show.
Well, I always appreciate sharing time with you, number one, on this great show that we call The Other Side of Midnight, and your listeners from around the world. Thank you for having me.
Dave Scott, what is the hot topic you're dealing with the past few days? Is there any new thing from the UFO reveals? Anything you're concerned about? Anything that you go, whoa, I didn't know that?
It's almost like we've gone on hiatus, like it's the calm before the storm. You know, it really is in the UFO world like going to a nightclub. You go, you party your brains out, you have a few too many drinks, and then eventually, Walter, you get the hangover. And I think we're in the hangover mode right now before the next set of tranches are released by the U.S. government. I have had talks with people trying to figure out what could be coming, and nobody seems to know. They expect it to be much of the same. And that would be, there's probably going to be historical reports, you know, information given on some of those. We've seen that already with NASA and other events that have happened with the FBI and other reports. They're also believing that if there is any more videos that are going to come out, they expect them to be the same. Now, in talking to a couple of ufologists over the last couple of days regarding this, they think that the public is going to start really stopping paying attention if they bring out any more very poorly edited and very poorly shot videos that the public can sink their teeth into. You know, when you have momentum, you want to keep that momentum going, but you eventually have to improve on your story. And if that doesn't really happen, they think that this might be the beginning of the end of the UFO story unless they come out with something huge.
But they never promised there was going to be anything huge. And I don't know what the benefit to the government is to maintain interest. They're just releasing these files. They're not show business.
No, very true. But it's, I think for the field of ufology, it really has to do with, you know, for decades, people have made fun of people who claim to see UFOs or study UFOs or
Right.
have had ET contact. And they're finally getting their 15 minutes of fame here the last few years. And, of course, you want to keep that going. And you want to keep the momentum going because ufology has never been more popular in the United States as it is right now.
Right.
So in order to keep it going, you want something big. Are we going to get it? Probably not, but we could always wish.
What if there is nothing big? What if it is just all these little specks in the sky?
Well, that's what I expect it to be. You know, but this goes back to the story of whether or not we're going to get a slow drip or a fast run on the UFO faucet. I think it's going to be a slow drip from now until probably the end of my life, unless something big happens, like a mothership all of a sudden appears over New York City, or we have another Phoenix Lights type event that really gets people remotivated about this subject.
And what do you think is going to be released? Do you have any clues, any relationships with people in the government who would give you a clue?
It's funny. That question I did ask recently, and nobody seems to know. It's like all of a sudden people are mum on the subject. You know, there's no hints of more videos. There's no hints of other information. Just, hey, we're going to release the tranche when we do. It could come as early as Friday. It could come next week. We don't know. Like, there's no secrets being told right now.
They haven't announced when the next tranche is coming?
We have heard speculation around June 6th, okay? June 5th, June 6th. You know, they like to release these things usually on a Friday, you know,
Right.
So that way all the politicians have already scattered for the weekend and nobody's there to answer. So if it does happen, I would expect it to be either this Friday or next Friday.
When this speculation about government files being released, did you have a theory as to what it was going to be, or were you just open-minded?
I was very cautiously hopeful that we would get some information. I think the biggest information that we have is from NASA. Okay, the files that have been released by NASA. Okay, well, not technically from NASA, but by the FBI, courtesy of NASA. And I wish, if I had my one wish in this subject, I wish the media would jump all over that. There is a much bigger story there that is being told, especially decades of lies, even from the astronauts who were told to cover up what they saw. And I think if the media was truly smart on this subject, it's not about the videos, it's about NASA and what they've seen.
And what do you think NASA is still keeping from us? How could there's no more to keep from us?
Oh, I think there's plenty more to keep from us. Quality videos. Okay, NASA has a live camera on the International Space Station, which many people monitor in case something anomalous flies by. And it's always something anomalous that seems to be going by where the feed just accidentally cuts.
It's terrible. Terrible how that always cuts out.
Absolutely. I think NASA has thousands of secrets. Pictures, probably of craft. I think there's a lot more that happened on the moon than what we know. I think that, you know, even going through the shuttle missions, the International Space Station, we know there was a Russian cosmonaut a few years ago who filmed what looked to be a boomerang shape of lights that was flying by the International Space Station. He went and put it out on X. You know, so there is a lot of videos out there that have had, you know, that NASA is holding by. Now, has every astronaut seen something? Probably not. But I would say it's more than half. That's just my assessment of it. It could be more, it could be less. But I think if we went 50-50, I think that's a fair start.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more from the moon landings, a lot more to explain why we haven't gone back that we have not been given.
Absolutely. And that's why we got to open up that can of worms. The can has already been popped. We just have to open it up. And that starts with the media, because even the UFO field, for the majority of people who do what I do online, I mean, there's hundreds, if not thousands, of UFO channels on podcasts, on YouTube, and wherever. And nobody seems to be focusing on the NASA documents. I don't understand why. It's probably the closest to what we're going to get, rather than watching a bunch of man-made objects in the videos that they have released to us. Why not focus on the biggest player in space? NASA is that. If we don't focus on that, what the hell are we doing here?
Dave Scott, how do we find you online?
SpacedOutRadio.com is the website. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel, Spaced Out Radio, and you can also check us out on Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, every major podcast network, and you can download it for free.
Dave Scott, Spaced Out Radio. He has a great website, spacedoutradio.com/shop, and there you can find Walter Sterling on a T-shirt in a UFO. It is a spectacular piece of art, definitely worth buying the T-shirt, and I thank you for being on the other side of midnight with Walter Sterling. 800-848-9222. There's Ray. Welcome. Ray, finally you've made it to network radio. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you, Walter. Highest compliment from one lifelong content misfit. highest compliment to a creative, technical master. Your show is off the chain. I just had a quick question. Maybe you could elaborate on it. Should we stay optimistic? Because I know they got a soundbite with Sharippa. We're all doomed. But is there anything that's significant about that doomsday clock? Maybe you heard about it. It's got to be like close to 11:59 by now. Is that crazy?
Yes, all of my life it's been between 11:55 and 11:59, and it's a good stunt and means absolutely nothing. Here's what I believe about nuclear war and our lifetimes. This is my deep and profound thoughts, Ray. Would you like to hear them?
Most certainly, sir.
I believe that the United States and the Soviet Union in the late 1960s had a series of quiet conversations, and the conversations were this: we're never going to launch an attack against you. You're never going to launch an attack against us, because the damage to either country would not just be our country, it would be worldwide. The fallout would be worldwide. However, if we both have nuclear arsenals, and we both control a nuclear arsenal, we can keep every other goofy country from getting a nuclear arsenal. We don't want any other countries to have a nuclear arsenal. We're so big, the United States and the Soviet Union is so big that they have everything to lose. And they also, at the same time, have the ability to control the nuclear proliferation of the world. I believe that's what happened. We came to détente with the Soviet Union. Notice we've conducted no wars of any type with the Soviet Union since then, except the Cold War, which was just a parlor game. The Cold War was a parlor game. That's it.
I hear you.
Meanwhile, you got some annoying little country like Iran, Iraq. Okay, cut it out. You know, you can't have it. It's not okay. And even though the Soviet Union has... Even though Russia has not announced to stop it, they've also been silent. They have not said we agree with Iran. We're not supporting Iran. They're not supporting Iran. Right. They don't want anything to do with it.
Is that partially a good sign? I mean, they're the most annoying. These people are like, the Iranians are just flipping me out, man. You know, they ain't budging. So I feel for POTUS, because he's in what a jam, you know. Anyway, I'm so honored to have reached you, sir. And my basses remind me of such craftsmanship. Their name's Sterling from Music Man. And you got that name. It's so quality. Anyway, like I said, I'm up there in age, and I was worried about doomsday. You know, I mean, they sometimes they say we're a failed species.
Sure you do. Sure you worry about it. Of course we worry about it, but I don't think it's anything to worry about, because I believe the two nuclear superpowers have no interest in using any of it or attacking each other. We haven't attacked each other. We just say stupid things to each other, and then we go to lunch.
Well, listen, God bless the family.
God bless you, Ray.
Thank you. Bye, Walter. Have a good night. Thank you, sir.
You too, sir. 800-848-9222, Walter Sterling.